So should you be doing a general store or a niche store? There's been a lot of talk about this. You probably get a lot of different opinions. Here's my 2 cents on it, and without any further ado, let's hop right into it. Alright, so we are now inside of my computer, and we're going to talk about the general store and the pros and the cons. So you guys obviously know what a general store is. It's when you go to a store and they sell just everything. There's just stuff everywhere, all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Doesn't make any sense. But that's not always necessarily a bad thing. So what are some of the pros of that? The biggest one is product flexibility. So when you have a niche store, let's say you're in the fitness niche, which is the example I'll go to throughout this video, you're focused on only selling fitness related products. So yoga pants, workout equipment, protein powder, things that are in that space. But when you have a general store, you can sell anything. You can sell jewelry, you can sell fitness equipment, you can sell pet supplies, you can sell just about everything. And when you need to test a bunch of different products to find out what's going to sell, having that general store is going to be super important for you. So another thing is it gives you a large audience. So the fitness niche, for example, I know there's more than 1 million people in it, but let's just keep the numbers simple. Let's just say the fitness niche has 1 million people. That's a small audience that you're going to just repeatedly just kill with ads and ads and ads. But if you have a general store, the audience is as many people as that have Facebook that you can actually advertise to, or how many people have an Instagram or Google if you're doing Google AdWords. There's no limit on who you can advertise to. So it's just the possibilities are endless. Those are some of the main pros. Some of the cons are obviously going to be less brand loyalty. So if someone's just going to your website, they see a one-off ad, we've talked about this in previous videos, there's really nothing that's going to make them go back to your store that's going to generate them to actually have interest in you just beyond that purchase. Like Amazon, for example, they're a general store, quote unquote, but they have a bunch of different things that would actually make you want to go back. So Amazon Prime with the 2-day shipping or 1-day shipping in San Diego, like where I'm at, or whatever it is. You have literally everything. So it's, in that case, that's a good general store. It's also hard to upsell or cross-sell when you have a bunch of different things going on. So if you have a lot of free time, you can set up specific products that would have an upsell that are related to that niche. So if you have a general store and you're selling fitness pants, you can upsell that with the protein powder or the fitness shirt, the crop top that matches, whatever it is. So I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a lot harder, especially when you're testing all these products. It's going to take a lot of time, and especially time you probably don't have, because time is money. So you don't want to waste too much time trying to calculate all these different things. And you're going to be competing on cost. So when you have a general store, because people aren't as brand loyal, if people go to a general store, they're going to be looking more likely at other prices and other things across different stores. So again, they'll go to Amazon, they'll go to Walmart, they'll go to all these different places, because there's nothing really keeping someone from just checking your store if you offer all these different things and you don't have a specialty. There's nothing that you preach you're the champion at or you're the best at, which I talked about branding yourself in a previous video. If your store doesn't claim to be the best at something and it's selling general products, what's stopping someone from wanting to go someone else who is an expert, where they have a larger selection or possibly better pricing? And that's when you're going to have to compete on cost in these general stores. And competing on cost in business is always a losing battle. If you're competing with cost, then unless you can scale, you sell 1 million units or you're producing a bunch of units, then it's not going to be a successful business model for you. Okay, so the first pro is you have potential for increased brand loyalty. And pretty much what this means is, again, people are going to want to check out your site beyond just that first purchase, and they're staying engaged with your content on Instagram and Facebook. Whenever you drop a product, they're into it. They see you as an expert in that space, or that you have a depth of products available in that space. And when you niche down, whether it's for your target market or per industry, so again, if that's fitness products, and what I mean by per market is if it's people that maybe have a certain interest in hiking, for example. So that would be an example of people that you'd be into, and you could hit them with just things beyond hiking products. So maybe it's water bottles, or maybe it's whatever it is. So now the next thing is a target audience that is more focused. So when you have a target audience that is more focused, you can learn really well exactly what makes these people tick and how to sell to them the best way. So when you have a general store and you're just testing different products against different industries, you're not really too sure what motivates those buyers, because you're not really spending enough time to learn about how they think and what motivates them to make a purchase. But when you really learn about your core customer, you can understand how to niche down really well with them and you can make some products and make better product selections that they'd actually want to buy. The last thing is pretty obvious. It's easier to upsell. So if you're in the fitness niche and you have pants that you want to sell, then you can say, hey, that matches with this top, and that also matches with this water bottle, and maybe you're doing print on demand, so you can do a whole line of print on demand, you know, that matches and everything looks good. And so those are definitely some of the pros, but there are cons, and we're going to get into that next. Okay, so what are the niche store cons? The number one issue is there's no product flexibility. So if you're just starting a store, you haven't really done any testing, you haven't found any winners yet, if you start a brand, you're like, okay, I'm going to sell to the fitness niche. You don't know which products are going to sell, and if none of them are selling, and you're like, oh man, I just found these earrings in the beauty niche that would have sold real well, but your audience and your website is all about fitness, then it's going to be real hard for you to try to pivot to that space like if you had a general store. So that's definitely an issue. If you haven't found a winning product yet, you don't want to be using a niche store. It's also a limited market, which we talked about just a bit earlier in this video. You know, again, your audience is only going to be as big as the people are into that industry. So if it's fitness, again, you're only going to have, you know, there's millions of people in it, but how many of those people can you actually hit? And then once you exhaust that market, there's not too much more you can do. I'm not saying that it's impossible, because there will always be people who are interested in your product, especially if you have a broad niche. But the problem is if you're too broad, then there's no one who's going to really want to buy from you because you're not really focused in one thing. So like maybe if you have an example of a very niche store, beyond just the fitness niche would be like rock climbing. That's fitness, but maybe you only sell rock climbing products, so it's a bit more focused. But then the problem with that is it's a limited market. So how many people are actually into rock climbing, and how many of those people are going to want to buy from you? It's just, again, when I talk about e-commerce, it's always a numbers game, and those numbers are not in your favor as you start to hit that audience and it starts to get less and less new organic reach. Lastly, the market is likely saturated. So when you pick a niche, the fitness niche, the pet niche, there are hundreds of dropshipping stores that you're competing with on top of Amazon, on top of Walmart, on top of, if it's pets, Petco, you know, all these different things that you're going to have to compete with. And they are experts at it. Their ad budgets are a lot bigger than yours, and they really have no reason to buy from you. So it's going to be very, very complicated. So what's the solution? The solution is really trying to pull from the pros of both, and I'm going to talk to you exactly how to do that right now. Okay, so there's general, niche store, which is the best one to go with. I'm going to talk to you guys about how you should niche down, but niche down differently than probably what you've been taught and what most people would think. So think about niching down differently. You need to niche down on your message, not on your industry. So what do I mean by that? When I say niche down on your message, I mean when people see your business or you have a message that your brand stands behind, whether it's environmental sustainability or it's losing weight and being healthy, or it's ending global warming, you know, whatever your message is, if you niche down there and not industry specific, so you're not worried about fitness products, you're not worried about pet products, you can tap into both the pros of the general and the niche store. So Tom's Shoes is probably a great example, and we'll hop onto their website in a minute. Yes, they do focus on shoes, so they are more niche in the shoe space, but what I want to get really from their example is their message, because there are so many different shoe stores and shoe brands, but what does Tom's do specifically that makes them unique? It's about their message. So let's hop over to their website, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about and what you should be trying to imitate on your stores. All right, so we're on the Tom's website, and the Tom's website is a great example of how to do messaging correctly and build brand trust, brand awareness, and brand loyalty. So you go right to their website. Yes, you kind of see how they do some of the drop shipping stuff, like they have the banner up top, free shipping, $59 and free returns. Also, by the way, this isn't a drop shipping brand. If you guys aren't familiar with Tom's, they're a shoe manufacturer that does very, very well. But I just want to show you that, yes, even these big brands do kind of top banners up here where they offer these things. So yes, big brands are doing things like that. But you'll see what they do differently is you can see right here, for example, they say how we give, and this is their message. This is the thing they're trying to do. So when I buy a pair of Tom's shoes, I don't actually owe a pair of Tom's shoes, but if I were to buy a pair of Tom's shoes, I would feel good about that purchase, because I know when I buy a pair of Tom's shoes that they're improving lives and you're showing what we give. So if we go what we give, for example, we'll click that, we'll see what loads up. You can see our shoes are brand new and made for school and play. We provide multiple styles and offer a range of sizes to fit kids from toddlers to teens. So we talk about, again, what they do and how they help people. The gift of sight. Your Tom's Eyewear purchases helps restore sight to an individual through sight-saving surgery, prescription glasses, or medical treatment. So then they talk about how they help people get access to water. So yes, it's a shoe company, and I guess they've also now expanded to glasses. But you can see how everything you buy from them has a purpose that is just beyond this transaction. So when you buy from Tom's, again, you feel happy, you feel good, you feel like you help the world when you bought from this brand. So I'm not saying that's what you need to do. I'm not saying your business needs to be a charity and you need to do all these great things. But the point is they have a message and people have bought into that message. So Tom's, for example, yes, they're called Tom's and originally they're known for their shoes. But you can see now they're expanding to glasses and maybe they've expanded into other things. And they have that ability because their niche went beyond just shoes. Their niche was their message of helping people. And that's what you can do too. So I'm trying to think of an example on the spot. If you don't want to help people, you don't want to donate to charity, maybe it's sustainability. So all your products maybe are sustainable or they're green. So maybe they're made from a bamboo. But when you do that, you can then sell in the fitness niche, in the pets products niche. It gives you that ability to have the brand power of a niche store, but also have the product flexibility of a general store. And so when you think niche down on a message and things you actually maybe do genuinely care about, you'll have more passion about marketing those products, but you'll also be able to build that loyalty, and you won't have to compete on price, especially if you're doing like this. If you give to charity or your purpose is sustainability, for example, you can say, yes, we're not the most affordable option, but we're the best option because this is our message and this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to do X, Y, Z. Whatever your message is, you need to craft a message like Tom's has done. So I highly recommend going to Tom's and checking out their website and seeing how much effort they actually put into making sure that their message is as strong as possible. So we'll to another example. Let's look them up real quick. This is one of the most famous dropshipping stores around. So if you've been in the game, you're probably familiar with them. They're called Sugar and Cotton. So they don't do this a lot, like, next level. But let's just go to a product right now and I'll kind of show you what they're talking about. So let's just go to their arts products and let's just click this little statue thing. So yes, you can kind of see they are they have the trust badges, they have the Hurify, they have the Messenger, they have a lot of those apps, but you can see right here they have an amazing cause. So it says, we're thrilled to support First Book, an amazing charity that donates to books to disadvantaged children who need them the most. So they've latched onto a message that they can support with their brand. And if they were to really leverage that in their sales, they could probably do even more sales. And you can see they have all these things popping up. So this is definitely a drop shipping store. But the point is, latch onto a message, not just an industry. And that's how you niche down correctly. And that's how you can really build brand loyalty and increase purchases and make people feel happy about interacting with your brand, because ultimately, that's the kind of interaction you want to have with your customer. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a little bit of a delay from my last video, but I hope you guys got some value from this and you can realize that, yes, you should niche down, but niche down the right way, and that'll create the kind of value for your business that'll help you grow without putting yourself in a box. So if you have any questions for me about this video or other videos I've posted in the past, you can reach out to me personally on Instagram at Marchese Jack, or if you want to see posts that I post every single day or get feedback from other people, you can join the e-commerce products group on Facebook, which is grouped with Keylitic, so you'll make sure you can have all those things as well. But that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace!